Welcome back, everybody. You made it. So, here we are today. We are discussing traditional shapes that are used in crystal work. Anybody can use these. You can use these at any time. And I'm going to apologize in advance if this ends up giving you PTSD and high school geometry flashbacks because it may just do that. Because we are going to be going through some of the most basic geometric shapes, but not why they are what they are. So let's get started, shall we? So here's what we're working with today. So these are the types of crystals that we're going to be going over. And this is the whole array of some of these are naturally occurring. Some of them are polished or cut this way. So you kind of get an idea of the whole array of things that are available to you. So I have for you today an array of shapes that are traditionally used in either healing, or you can just use them around the house realistically. They don't have a specific set purpose. Well, they do have set purposes. So what it basically is you have the use of the shape, and then which will amplify the natural properties of the crystal. So it's kind of fun in that respect because you have double usage. So you're getting twice as much almost amplification or whatnot of the properties of that crystal that you may not get otherwise. So we're going to start off with what is the most basic shape, and it's the amorphous shape, meaning it has no shape. And because it has no set shape or principle aligned with it, it allows things to manifest faster. It allows the properties of the crystal to react quicker. Amorphous crystals allow energy to pass through freely and act rapidly, and may be a catalyst for growth or instant change. It's going to depend on the properties of the individual crystals. These are all examples, rough cut, polished, of amorphous crystals. They're all different shapes, they're all different sizes. They're all, these are the ones that you might carry in a pocket. You might put around maybe in your office, your bedroom, wherever you feel you need them. You could even some of these smaller ones, maybe, I don't know how you make out with the bigger ones, but even some of the smaller ones, you could get like the crystal cages or like the metal cages and put these in jewelry. If you can get beads with holes, this is sometimes how they'll show up for jewelry pieces. So this is a prime example of what amorphous crystals look like. There's no set shape, and it doesn't matter if they're rough cut or polished. It's a whole variety of shapes and sizes, and some of which are natural occurring, some of which may not be. So we went over amorphous crystals. So now we're going to move on to the cubes. And I actually could not find, when I tried to look, an actual clean cut square. So I do have an example of what a cut crystal looks like. Mine's more of a rhombus shape, and I cannot identify what this crystal is. It kind of bothers me. I believe it's clear calcite, but then there's this other stone called an Icelandic spar that is cut kind of similar to this. So I'm about 75% certain that this is just clear calcite cut and kind of cut into a rhombus shape, because I bought this so long ago I can't find like the little paperwork that like the little like sheet of paper that told you what it was. So, but you want cubes because they're created from squares and with their axes at right angle to each other, and they're stabilizing, they're anchoring, and they're grounding. They're excellent for structure and reorganizing. They are the only form that does not bend light. So if you end up inadvertently leaving one of these kind of by a window, you're good. Or by a light source, it won't, you don't have to worry. Granted, opaque stones you don't have a problem with. You may want to be careful with something like this, or like this, where I don't know if rose quartz bends light, but we'll get to crystal balls in a minute. So you do just want to be, but that's the nice thing is that they don't, light can't bend through them. So. Okay. So now I want to show you a cube. Now this was the closest I could find when I went looking to a cube shape. However, there are also ones, I know this isn't cube, this is kind of more I think of a rhombus or a parallelogram. What I want you to see though are the really sharp cut edges. So you will find ones that are purposely carved into the shape of a cube. They'll be really nice, clean cut edges. That's kind of what I wanted you to see, and that's why I pulled this out. I will try and do this specific shape for other videos, but I wanted you to just see the sharpness that you can get ones that are purposely carved into the shape of a cube, whereas this one's kind of slightly more natural. So this is blue goldstone. So what you want to do is you want to put a cube between you and someone else to sometimes filter through certain types of energy. Now what I have also here for you, this is moonstone and this is lapis. And you're going to notice these are two, I'm going to say these are actually naturally cut squares. This one's more on a slope, but it's square-ish. So these are kind of what they look like when they occur naturally. I bought this one like this. It just happened to be square shaped. These, so they don't fit the geometric definition of a cube. They're more of a square. I want to dig into it a bit and see if there's a difference, but you may actually find these. This one I got in like a set of like not rough tumbled. I found this when I ordered like just a bunch of loose crystals and like a bunch of tumbled lapis, and this was how it came. So you will find some of these naturally occurring either in kind of this square shape or like a rough cube, almost kind of like this. So these might be, so this is, being that this is another type of goldstone, this is also another type of glass, but still, it's just the idea that you get these kind of rough or naturally occurring shapes. I do want to double check on the squares for you though, because a square is not a cube, but are the properties the same? And when I kind of look it up, I end up going in circles, but I will dig into that a little deeper. But I did just want you to see that, you know, these will probably have similar qualities to a cube. Naturally occurring square crystals or cube crystals can draw off negative energy and transform it into positive energy. So these are really good, depending again on the type of crystal that you want to use, that you want to put between you and someone else. So this is a very hard shape to find. For whatever reason, they can also be a little bit more expensive. So happy hunting, because I don't know how often squares and cubes pop up. Well, I should say cubes, because I do actually have at least 2 examples of naturally occurring square cut crystals. I blanked on that word. It's only Tuesday. Monday feels so long ago. I don't know why, but it does. All right. So next I have for you pyramids and triangles. Again, I know so here you have the formal triangle. You have the flat base, and then you have the sides. This one is shungite. This little one is ruby, and this little one is lapis. And I wanted to kind of pull these out for you because these are naturally occurring triangles. I got both of these in just like a set of tumbled crystals. This is red tiger's eye, and this is also lapis. And you know, they do the same thing. I was actually using this for a couple weeks in medium circle. I was holding it while I did readings to kind of help with communication and help properly deliver messages. It doesn't work quite as well if you're nervous. It will make you communicate better, but if you're still nervous, it doesn't help negate that nervousness. But yeah, again, like this one's got the flat side, and it's got 1, 2, 3, it's got 4. It's basically like a naturally occurring pyramid or triangle. It's not, but it doesn't have, oh yeah, it is it's a naturally occurring pyramid. It's not quite as cut as these are going to be. Like, it's not as pronounced. It's more natural. Same thing with this one. You've got two, this one's a little bit more triangular. I mean, you do have the two sides and the flat bottom. Maybe more of a pie wedge, perhaps, or a wedge shape, but yeah. So I just want you to see that a lot of these shapes will be naturally occurring, as well as you can find them in carved examples. And what's nice about the carved examples is that if you're looking, especially when it comes to pyramids and you really want the energy drawn off, I would go for the ones that are carved, because you know for a fact that they will really funnel that energy out through a point. You could try with these, but because the points are so pronounced on these, it will really do the job, whereas maybe something like this might be it will be gentler. It may not be as pronounced as with this. It will be a softer energy. Okay. Now we have the pyramid, and this is a great shape to keep around. I have one, as I mentioned, I keep the shungite one by my work computer. And I bought one. I actually bought one from my mom for the home computer to keep there. The only thing is if you are putting something like this in front of your computer, you have to kind of make sure it's between you and the electronics, because I had mine further back. I had it tucked under a what are those things called, like a laptop stand or like a monitor stand, because I have my work monitors slightly elevated, and I had this kind of tucked under it. And my teacher saw it when she came for a cleansing, and she's like, "This needs to be closer to you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So you're gonna have to position this somewhere closer to your energy field rather than the electronic energy field. So that is something to bear in mind. Something like lapis is really good. This is a perfect little travel size. So if you're someone that doesn't like to communicate, doesn't like to communicate, if you're not a fan of public speaking, this is actually a really good little handy tool to have, especially if you haven't adjusted to it yet, or for whatever reason you're going into a situation where you're really nervous. All right, so pyramids, 4 sides and a base. The base might be squared off, and the crystal is natural rather than artificially shaped, so it depends. They can amplify and then tightly focus energy through the apex and are suitable for holding manifesting programs. So what that means is, if you were trying to manifest something, I think ruby's a protection stone. I bought these more because I wanted the shapes rather than the crystals themselves. But I have generally found that when I do that and then I end up looking up the crystal meanings, it's usually something I need. So there might be a reason why I picked up ruby and just haven't fully processed it yet. So, or what sometimes happens is you will buy these for yourself, and then they will find their way to the person they are meant to go to. So you might be its keeper for a little while before it's like, oh, this actually should be with you. You were meant to be the owner, and I was just holding on to it for you, which has happened to me before. So, but yeah, so if you want to try and manifest with these, you sit and you're basically sitting and meditating and focusing on what it is you want to manifest, and then that will program the crystal. If you want to deprogram it, I assume you would just kind of smudge it, cleanse it, and let it sit for a little while, and then maybe do another do another meditation on what you wanted to reprogram it for. They can draw off negative energies and block that are. They can draw off negative energies and they can help unblock chakras, replenishing vibrant energy, and they enhance and focus inherent properties of the crystal. So I feel that all of these on some level will do that, depending on, doesn't matter the shape. It will amplify or kind of focus or refocus the purpose of the crystal. So, but pyramids are actually a really good shape. And if you are a healer or you're looking, someone has told you you've gone for a Reiki session or another energy session, and they're like, hey, you're kind of, your crown's kind of blocked, or your solar plexus is a little wonky. If you're having digestive issues, if you have grounding problems, sometimes getting a little pyramid, lying down and meditating, even sleeping, if you should fall asleep, that's fine. And lie this on the appropriate chakra that it corresponds with. It will help as you sleep and as you meditate to start drawing off all that blocked energy. And then if you're a healer and you eventually get a set of these, or if you find that you have a lot of clients that are coming to you with specific issues, maybe you pick up the ones that you find you need the most, and then you plop this on them while you're working on them, and it will help you to unblock that chakra. That's probably really good if someone's got an exceptionally blocked chakra, or if you're dealing with someone that's got chronic illnesses, chronic diseases, chronic colds. That might be really helpful as well. But you just need a corresponding crystal. So you do have to make sure of that. Now the egg shape, I actually have a friend that has a larger egg. So this is a particularly small one. This was what I found just as an example to have, and this goes into my bag of crystals for card readings. And so the egg in and of itself is a symbol of fertility, a symbol of abundance. A lot of people will associate this with Easter or Ostara, the pagan holiday, because it also carries that symbolism. The egg symbolism in and of itself is one of fertility and abundance, new beginnings, that kind of thing. So the egg shape confines and shapes energy, and they can be used to detect and rebalance blockages in the body. The more pointed the end, so like I had mentioned when I was showing you this, for reflexology, acupressure, if you have one that's a little bit more pointed, maybe something along the lines of like this that comes to a really, something like this that comes to a really pronounced like egg shape. This is technically more oval, I guess. But this is, like, some people call this an egg shape. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I guess it's more oval-ish than egg. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah, so for reflexology and acupressure, they might have you like kind of lie on it to hit that pressure point, and supposedly they're very good hand comforters to use in times of stress, because you can just sit and you can just roll this back and forth. You could do that with this one too. Whee! Ironically, this is not a shape I associate with stress relief, but there's nothing that says you can't. Like, a lot of it depends on just what you personally gravitate toward. So you might see this shape and be like, ooh, I could have a lot of fun with that. It will roll. Just be aware, be mindful that if you put this on a desk or a table, you might have to finagle it a little bit, because it will want to roll. Let's see. So, after that, all right, well, that's one way to do it. We have the egg shape. So I have for you two of the same stone. So this is rhodonite. And this was carved in the shape of an egg. You can find these in all different sizes, and I also know that they are popular among not acupuncturists, reflexologists, and acupressure. You know, someone might recommend one of these so that you can lie on it in order to hit specific pressure points, probably most notably along the back, like areas that might be harder to target. And then there's this stone. So this is Shiva Lingam, and this is naturally egg-shaped. This is a stone that you can only get out of India, and it's a really powerful protective stone. It's named for the god Shiva, but it only comes in egg shape. This is a little one that I have, and they will always kind of be striped like this. The patterns will be different, but they still kind of have that egg shape. So these are both, I believe, naturally occurring. Like these aren't carved, as far as I know, I should say, these are not carved into this shape. They are naturally occurring egg shaped. So, whereas this one is actually was polished, and carved is probably a rough word because it's a very round shape, but polished and molded into an egg shape.
Let's see. Clusters. So these are fun. So I don't know why, but I actually wanted to make sure this was actually considered a cluster, because I was like, I would think it is. There's no reason why it wouldn't be, but maybe it's something else. I don't know. So, but this is considered a crystal cluster. And the points are embedded, but not necessarily fixed into the base. The crystals may be large or small, and they radiate energy into the surrounding environment and can also absorb detrimental energy. These can also be programmed and left in a place to do their work. They're useful for cleansing a room or other crystals. So if you had one that was a little bigger, or they do sometimes come in like a semi-flat base, and then they kind of come up. I'll see if I can find a picture to put in here. And then you would put like the crystals on top. Let me see if I could do it like with this. So you would kind of do, it's not gonna stay. I think this is the smallest thing I have. Okay, so you're gonna kind of do, it's not gonna stay, but I just want to give you an example of like what you would do. It's like you'd kind of tuck the crystals like in between the points, or if you could get it to balance on there. That's how you can clean other crystals. Argonite is a grounding crystal, and it's good for earth energy. If you want to use these to clean other crystals, I would recommend amethyst, citrine, selenite. Those are the three that come to mind if you wanted a cluster or even a geode to help cleanse other crystals. Those are the top three I can think of. I don't have a geode, and I was looking at like make your own geo kits on Etsy where they sell them and you can like crack them yourself, and it actually looked really fun. It looked really fun to do. So I was like, well, maybe in the summer I'll try and see what I can do and maybe set that up as a video, because I thought that looked really fun. I get to smash things. I shouldn't be left to my own devices. It's a really bad idea. Okay. So, yeah, so you just leave your crystal on these overnight to clean, and they will clean.
Yeah. So this is considered a cluster. And it's got all the different crystal points that you can see coming off of it. They're all different sizes. And what this does is it radiates, this kind of acts like the sphere does, or the crystal ball. It radiates energy out into the room. But they can also absorb detrimental energy. And all of these crystals can be more or less programmed. So if you sit and meditate with this and focus on what kind of energy you want it to absorb or what you want it to draw in, it will do that. So a cluster is really good if you want to try and cleanse a room and balance, You can also use this to clear other crystals. So, but yeah, this is what a cluster. This is kind of so you can get an idea of what a cluster looks like. There are different types. This is just what I happen to have on hand. All right, back to other me.
Crystal balls. So, what's really nice about these is that because of the shape is from a larger crystal, it may have planes and flaws in them. They may not. So, like this is the shungite one. This is just a solid ball. You could probably, hopefully the other camera caught it a little better. You're not going to want to use something like this for cleansing. You can probably see that there might be like scratches on it. That's from me. Because shungite is just carbon. Can I buff those out? Not quite. But what they do is they emanate energy out into the room in all directions. And when you use a crystal ball, because I was actually trained on this one to use it for scrying, it can be a window into the past or the future. And they move through time and provide a glimpse of what is to come, what has yet to be. So it's scrying. It's really what it's used for. That's the other reason why this shape is so popular. A lot of times people will equate it with the crystal ball. This is okay for crystal ball work. It is a bit small. You may want something just a wee bit bigger. You don't have to, there are some really honking big crystal balls that you can get your hands on, but this does the job. It works just fine. But that's a different video for a different day to really go in depth in that if you're interested.
And then let's see, let's hope everything stays. Now this is a very popular shape. A lot of people know this shape, the crystal ball. And so this is shungite. I use this in front of my TV and video game systems. This I have actually used for the art of scrying. So yes, these can be used for what it is, to emanate. This is shungite's really good for EMF, or electromagnetic fields, so it will disperse them evenly throughout the room. Whereas this one, I have in front of my work computer to help bleed off all of the electromagnetic field out into the ether, because I have such a large computer set up for my work computer. I use 3. I have a laptop, 2 monitors, the mouse, keyboard, etc. So this, as rose quartz will emanate gentle, loving energy into the room, something like this you can also use for the art of scrying. I'll go a little bit more into that. That's kind of a different entity unto itself, but you can use a crystal like this, or a clear, I don't know if they're glass crystals or clear quartz, but the, not glass crystals, clear glass, or if they're kind of exceptionally clear quartz that you normally see crystal balls used.
2 of the shapes that you have heard me talk about the most, that I talk about quite often. You've seen them quite often because to me these are so super common that you find these, I think, at Wiccan stores, New Age stores, crystal shops, museum gift shops. Like, they are everywhere. These 2 examples. You'll find them at Renaissance fairs. You can find these so many places because they are so popular. It's the worry stone and the palm stone. And the worry stone is a smooth stone used to soothe stress and anxiety. It's versatile for meditation and self-soothing, and it's got the divot and the depression that you put your thumb. I usually put my thumb. You could put another finger in, and it just sits in the groove, and it's usually the shape of an oval or a teardrop. Yeah, you just sit and you just rub it, and you can play with it and do whatever. Palm stones are also used for self-soothing. So it's flattened in an oval, and it fits perfectly in the palm of your hand. And it can be used to balance the energy of the body, mind, and soul, or body and mind. It's useful in meditation and energy healing. It may be used to help one focus their intentions and their goals.
It's a worry stone. This is a worry stone. You've seen me talk about these on a lot of different videos. It's probably next to the Amorphous crystal. You will find these around a lot. And they're great because they have this divot here for the thumb. And they're really good if you need just something to hold and fidget. This is red jasper. So this is a grounding stone, but you can get these in any type of crystal because, again, depending on the type of crystal you have will amplify the type of energy that's being used. Another super common one is this one. Whoops. So this is a palm stone. It's bigger than the worry stone. It's made to fit into the palm of your hand. They do come in different sizes. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. And it's the same deal. It's meant to kind of help you work through any issues. So this happens to be gold stone. So this is a really good sacral chakra stone. This is good if you are looking to boost your ambition.
So you can meditate with palm stones. You can meditate, I guess, with that. You can meditate with any of these shapes realistically, depending on what it is you're trying to do. But theoretically, you can really meditate with any of them. Because it's just the shape details what kind of properties the stone will do. So again, you take the natural property of the stone and then you just take the shape and it just kind of redistributes or re-amplifies that specific energy. But yeah, you can meditate these. You sit and you hold it and just focus on whatever. So you would focus if you are having a lot of self-esteem issues, a lot of ambition issues, you're trying to get something going. Goldstone is a really good stone. It's also if it will please your inner magpie, because that was one of the reasons why I bought it. I saw it and it was super shiny and I was like, ooh. So yeah, my inner magpie was like, we want that. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, I did it again. Yeah, I have a lot of stories like that where I'm like, oh, that's really pretty. I'm going to regret not buying that. And then I do. And then I look it up. I'm like, oh, I got played by my inner being again. So I think that's everything. I think that covers everything. I am going to do the next one coming up is on wands and points. Very Harry Potter-esque, I'm sure. Only they're crystal, not wood. And the next one is going to be really unusual shapes. That's a rabbit hole. Oh my god. Well, we'll go into that. But so thank you for dropping by. Thank you for making it back for another visit. I hope you have enjoyed and found this educational, or at least kind of amusing. I do the best I can. So until we meet again, my friends, take care. Have a wonderful holiday. And I'll see you again. Bye.